I wrote it down in New Mexico at my friend Rourke Griffin's house. He's a oil painter mostly. Basically everything he paints are New Mexico landscapes and hawks or other birds of prey. And it's just this cool old guy. His dogs' names are Ned, Nash, Nadine, Nemo, Nietzsche, and Maggie May. And he makes the best red chili you'll ever have in your life if you're so lucky. So anyway, this is written right next door to Rourke's house. I used to disappear in half a breath, born with an outlaw's taste for death. Said you ever hear a whistle that wasn't blowing lonesome? I'm just lightning striking a barbed wire fence. Rain on the mesa, all the junipers dance, growling sage and Constance. Canyoncito calling me something I ain't, like lightning striking a barbed wire fence. I've been up all night just waiting to work. The radio's fading, the coffee's burnt. Ever seen Orion wear a cloak of stars? Yippee-yi-yo, yippee-yi-yo. Stranded in the sandhills, I tried to repent. Dust in my eyes, the sun's trying to set. Erradera, I'm unbranded and unbranded I will stay. Like lightning striking a barbed wire fence. 7,000 miles near to God. Yippee-yi-yo, yippee-yi-yo. Ever seen lightning two-step to thunder's call? Ever seen Orion wear a cloak of stars? Yippee-yi-yo, yippee-yi-yo. Moonblind, maybe I still got a chance. Day's eyes are opening, opening, opening again. When I go, I wanna go down fast, like lightning striking a barbed wire. I'm just lightning striking a barbed wire, just lightning striking a barbed wire fence.
What does happen when lightning strikes a barbed wire fence?
I've never seen it.
The image works.
Yeah, I don't know why I wrote that. What was it? That was, yeah. So Rourke's he's a cowboy singer too. He's always wearing his big cowboy hat. And when I was living down there, close to him, he played one night a week at this restaurant in town, in the village of Pecos, actually. So I'd go over there and watch him get drunk every night, and just something about like that New Mexico feel all around you just makes you feel like you're in a story. There's like stories happening. And so I'd just be sitting there drinking Negro Modelos, watching Rourke play, and like all these, you know, he plays like every old country song, every old cowboy song. So all the imagery is just like kind of swirling around my drunk mind. And that's where on the album Roses y Mustaños, which is the only one I have printed right now, most of it was written down in that setting. So it's just there's a lot of references to different stuff in there. So I'm gonna do another one off of that record. It's called Hannah Maria. Stay that way. Well, this is not quite a love song. It's just a story about a cowgirl. I kind of wanted to turn around some of the old cowboy and western storytelling notions, like, you know, hero rides off into the sunset and leaves the woman at home alone. I was like, well, what if we just kind of flip the genders on that one? And that's kind of what that entire album's story, like the cohesive story, became that sort of just these different ideas of what, you know, what if Cormac McCarthy's Border Trilogy had been written with female protagonists, or, you know, that sort of thing. Then I just kind of took that idea and played around with it for a whole record. And so anyway, this is one of the cowgirl drifts away, and kind of a younger kid, you know, when you're young, and like everybody a couple years older than you is the most beautiful woman you've ever seen. She filled me up, and I listened well. Broke my promise, I will not outlive her. Swear I used to know her, I used to know myself. Saw 7 doves in the morning, outrode the storm she was born in, outrode any man you ever saw. Once believed I'd see her silhouette rising through the pines some sweet summer dawn. Once believed there were no sins on this earth for which one could not atone. Maybe Musteno is still out in the mountains. Maybe he's running where the rivers run red. Maybe some sins don't deserve their redeeming, and it's us that owes a sting to death. Anna Maria, come on home to Wyoming. Lay down the diamonds you're holding. Head your pony for home and hold on. I can still hear the wind sing your name in the sage, and I can still hear your high lonesome song. I can still hear you call this cold, callous country the only country to which you belong. Anna Maria, she came from Hickory with a 44 and an empty past. Lilacs grow green in the canyon. All good things have come and passed. guess just one little, I was thinking about that when I was playing it. And I remember one little thing, that last line about the lilacs grow green in the canyon, kind of stole that from the song Green Grow the Lilacs, which is one of the origin stories of the term gringo, which was kind of something that's been on my mind, because it was like the most popular song in the country during the Spanish-American War, or the war with Mexico. Were those the same thing?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. There's too many of them, they're kind of mixed up. But anyway, so all the soldiers from the U.S. were marching into Mexico singing Green Grow the Lilacs, and the Mexicans were like, ah, this is fucking gringos. It's alright. No kids here, are there? Let's see, where are we going next? Cool, we'll keep right on with the program. That sound right. What? Anybody got any questions while I'm tuning?
Yeah, how long have you been here?
Here? Wow.
And what brought you here?
That's interesting, because that's kind of the story of this next song.
Okay.
Or part of the story of writing it. I moved here 2.5 years ago. And I've been here once before. I moved down like a year before, played a show at TG, and I was like, man, there's really good beer here, and it's really pretty. It was like the middle of winter, so it wasn't crazy busy at TG. It's just like all these locals hanging out drinking really good beer. I was like, okay, you guys kind of got it figured out. And then when I came back the next time, it was because I had another show at TG, and I think I had a Toonsmith lined up like a month apart. And Bart Budwig had just moved down here into the OK Theater and set up his recording studio. So I was like, all right, Bart, I'll just come down and live on your couch for a month and record some tunes between these two shows. And that month turned into 4 months, and at the end of that 4 months, I got a job, or kind of an apprenticeship work trade, out on Barry Cox's ranch, and just north of Wallowa by Pawatki, and I've been bouncing between those two places ever since, out here in the county, with some kind of unsuccessful side adventures to Texas and Mexico at different times. I don't think those counted against me. I hope they didn't. So yeah. Oh, this song was written when it's called Absaroka, etc. And I assume a few of you here kind of know the Nez Perce War history. But they were leaving Yellowstone, the mountain range that borders Yellowstone on the east is the Absarokas, and they took Nez Perce took a secret passage through there to get through the Absarokas and dodge 2 different regiments in the United States Army. Continue to make them look like idiots, as they had for about 1,000 miles up to that point, and would for another 800 or so. But anyway, when I moved out to the county, I'd kind of just fallen in love with this girl that, or maybe it was before I moved. Anyway, the first time I was in the county, and she was living in Cook City, which is on the northeast corner in the Absarokas, and we were exchanging letters a lot, and so it was a very romantic, poetic time in my life. But I kind of feel like all times in my life end up romantic or poetic. It's just how I like it. And so anyway, I had that going on, and I was driving through the county, and I was real new to learning tree species. This is probably the most embarrassing lyric I've got when you hear the story. So anyway, for whatever reason, I just like read a description, and I thought all the junipers were hemlocks, which is, no, that's not even close. Idiot! That's what happens when you grow up in Western Washington. The only tree you know is Doug fir. Because that's all you can see. So I kind of got that first line, which you'll hear pretty early on. And yeah, other than that, I don't know what the hell this song's about. I've been reading the Bible by cigarette light. I've been looking for a poet dead enough to plagiarize. Been tearing my thumbs apart, scratching my name in every down hemlock from here to Cheyenne. And the stars burn white blisters in the backs of my eyes. I'm sun-scorched and sober and uncauterized. You could trail me like Ephraim through the Absaroka hills to the canyons I fell through like handshaking deals. And we don't build white fences, and we don't build white homes, and heaven ain't built big enough for my kind of roam. So step softly in the sugar pine, light lightly in the live oak. I'm too tired for sleeping, too young for the cold. Unravel my restlessness, cinch me down tight, lead me to the clear water, weep when I die. Unravel my restlessness, cinch me down tight, lead me to the clear water, weep when I die. Oh, 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 let's see. I'm gonna kind of cheat for this next one if it's brand new. Y'all will be the, starting with whoever's ears it hits first, the fifth people to hear this one. It's I wrote this on the 5th of July because I spent all day on the 4th of July getting drunk with Janice and Carolyn and Bart at the lake because we were running the music, and it was 4th of July, and at the end of the night all I remember was this splayed out on my back on the lawn under the fireworks at Wallowa Lake. Fireworks exploding over my head, the whole world spinning a little faster than it usually does. Half-empty, half-gallon of Ezra Brooks at my side, and I was a little hungover the next day. But something about like being hungover really helps me write songs, so maybe that's why I have a drinking problem. But anyway, I was a little bit, my head was a little fuzzy, and the first line of this song, which is almost true, is Pa was born election day, 1958. My dad was born on November 4th of 1957, so I was off by a year. But I thought he was born in 58 for my whole life until like 2 years ago, so it's still in my head that way. But it wasn't actually an election. 58 wasn't a presidential election year anyway. So. But just disregard that because it makes the song a lot more. Anyway, I had that line in my head, and I was like, man, I just kind of started out writing it. I was like, okay, whatever, I'm hungover, I feel like writing, I'm just going to write this dumb song, and then I managed to make it not very dumb. And yeah, I don't know. I can't believe that I don't hate this song. I guess I'll just put it that way. It's pretty new. Yeah, let's do that. Let's play harmonica on that too. It's all new to me, guys. Just so you know. 'Cause I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Let's see. 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 Let So yeah, this is a basically everything other than the date I just mentioned is true in this. My parents are pretty cute. They've been married for like 35 years, I think. They're born in '80, so 37 years now. And yeah, they're just cool, and I had one of those like stupidly idyllic childhoods where just nothing went wrong, and they made me work a lot, and it was good. That's kind of a weird thing to, you know, if you go the other direction, you can probably get a lot more songs out of it, but I'm more than happy to make that trade-off. I find plenty of other ways to get myself into trouble. Pa was born election day, 1958, in salt and diesel smoke of Willapa Bay. Mom, she was a pretty thing, made of sunshine and grace, selling beer at the grocery store to a good-looking boy who was not of age. All the ways to make love stay you don't figure out without some faith. All the time that you need to take, don't take nothing away. All the earth grows lovers from the strangest kind of dirt, where we come to recover, where we come to work. Ma and Pa, they ran the game, and they're running it yet. The key to keeping fires burning forever is just keeping them well kept. All the way to make love stay, you don't figure out without some faith. All the time that you need to take, don't take nothing away. All the ways to make love stay, you don't figure out without some faith. All the time that you need to take, don't take nothing away. Don't take nothing away. Don't take nothing. So yeah, speaking of Mom, God, man, I sound like a real. Anyway, I was playing a show in my hometown a couple years ago when I was working on the last batch of songs, and I got too stoned and like just got really intense, you know. And I was singing. I got some pretty intense, sad songs. I'm not playing most of them, but I played them that night. And it just got, you know, some fire in it and some weepy shit going on. And my parents were there, which is always, you don't want your parents at those kind of shows. So afterwards, or the next day, Mom's like, "Why don't you have any happy songs?" Shut up, Mom. I was talking to my girlfriend at the time on the phone later that night. I was like, "Yeah, Mom's signing some happy songs. You believe that bullshit?" She's like, "Well, maybe you'd be in a better mood if you wrote a happy song." I was like, "Shut up." And then my phone died, and I had nobody to talk to, nothing to do, so I tried it. And apparently Mom and girlfriend's advice in the same day is something you should listen to. woke up this morning, sun's in the south. Your lips upon my lips, your smile upon my mouth. Daylight broke like a dusty rose or someone's easy laughter. 160 horses shook the ceiling, shook the rafters. And I'll live no more forever, on the better half of never, on the better half of nothing, fall down at my feet. We'll find forever somewhere high in Wyoming. Say our prayers in Absaroka, we ain't scared of anything. It was cold this morning, like 100 winters blooming, like every northern knew and all of the others were rendezvousing. There's coffee brewing and Ponderosa pine sparks smell like they know it's cold out there, but them horses won't feed themselves. Most of the year they do, but not when there's 3 feet of snow on the ground. I'll live no more forever, on the better half of never, on the better half of nothing, fall down at my feet. We'll find forever somewhere high in Wyoming. Say our prayers in Absaroka, we ain't scared of anything. We'll find forever somewhere high in Wyoming. Name our children Annie Oakley, Billie Holiday, and Butch Cassidy. Oh, hell, fine. We got all day, right? I don't have to go back to work. Just kidding. Whew, man, I felt a lot older than I am today. I've been, for the last couple weeks, been working out by Pewaukee Ridge, living in a cabin on the ranch out there. And it's got east-facing windows in the front, so just as soon as the sun comes up over Pewaukee Ridge, or even just the light comes over Pewaukee, it's like a laser beam right into the bed, right into your head, the bed. So this morning I woke up at 4:30 because my back hurt and the sun was up. I was like, well, guess I'll just stay up, make some coffee. So that's what I did. So I've been up for too long already. What was I gonna? I wrote this song as a joke too. After I recorded the Roses y Misteños album at the OK Theater here in Enterprise after like 5 months of living here. And after I got that done, like I didn't write songs for about a year and a half, something like that. And the end of that time span would have been last September. And I like kind of went out to work at the Minum Lodge for a while. I'd been packing for most of the summer, went to work at the Minum Lodge for like a week or two, came back and had like a week off to do nothing, and I was like, well, I gotta write some songs. And so I can't remember if I got stoned or not, but I definitely drank like a 6-pack of hams every night and just sat down and wrote terrible songs. Or so I thought. And then I was showing my friends these terrible songs, and most of them haven't seen the light of day. But this one, everybody was like, this was like the dumbest one that I thought that I wrote, and everyone loved it, which is something you really got to watch out for when you're a songwriter. If you got to have a good filter for yourself, because as soon as you write a stupid, terrible song, everybody's gonna love it. Damn the luck. So this is that one. I added a third verse onto it pretty recently, just because I was tired of playing it 2 verses. Anyway, said that love should be made like rawhide. Let me tell you, honey, I've been soaking ass wet for the first 18 years of my life. But I found a country far from the rain, and I stretched out my soul to dry it. Turned my face to the far-flung sun, and didn't learn to coil rope till I was nearly hung. I smelled every rose till my nose got stung. I made my share of mistakes, and darling, you weren't one. I was as green as April down in the canyon, but the finest of the fading light don't come till just before night. 90% of love is reckless abandon. The other half is learning not to run, keeping enough air to say I love you in non-lung, and finding forgiveness for wrongs we ain't yet done. I made my share of mistakes, and you weren't one. From me all I got, and honey, I'll give more. Ooh, hand me with your hip shot, and drag me to your fire. Burn your brand on my 12th rib, it's yours for the taking, and the least I could give. And love is wild as it felt when we were young. It's twice as dangerous as mother bears and guns. We need it more than the morning needs the sun, and I made my share of mistakes, and you weren't one. Yes, I'll make my share of mistakes, and you still ain't one. Your sister's enough. Cool. Well, it's which one?
So, Forrest, I'm reminded of a story.
Yeah.
At Fishcraft in the early years, we had a woman that came all the time named Alice Warren. She was in her 90s, and Kim Stafford was teaching a workshop, and there was a young girl, Rose, anyway, who was 16, and she wanted to be in a workshop. We hadn't had any kids in workshops. So I asked Kim, and he said, sure, I'll take her in this workshop. So the two of them were in the workshop. So I'm shoving the years on your audience, and you got to squeeze, put 10 to 20 on one end, and take off 10 to 20 on the other end. And so I checked in and I said, how's it going? And Alice said, you don't know how wonderful it is to remember what it was like to be 16. So I think some of us old people can identify with some of your younger thoughts.
Good.
And challenges.
Yeah, it's funny. It's taken me up to being 28. Well, I guess 27 could have said it started. 28 to really start digging in on just like happy love songs. Like, shit, man, love's fun. It's fun stuff to write about. It makes you do dumb stuff, and it makes you get all transcendental about the world. Kind of pulls everything together. And you just, I don't know. People are great. Especially so this next song, I think two of my friends have heard an iPhone recording of it. It was written 2 days ago, 2 or 3 days ago, so this will be the first time it's ever been played in public. I'm trying to find, I have this poem memorized, so I don't even know why. Anyway, I've been reading a lot of Rilke lately, and he's just a genius. That's kind of an understatement, but anyway, it's just a lot of good thoughts, good thinking going on in his work. And there's this poem that a friend showed to me recently that was one of her favorites. So of course I memorized it. because she's a babe. So, but it's all who seek you test you, those who find you bind you to image and gesture. I would rather sense you as the earth senses you. What ripens in In my ripening, you are my ripen. That ripens line always gets me. Oh, sorry. In my ripening ripens what you are. I need from you no tricks to prove you exist. Time I know is more than you. No miracles, please. Just let your laws become clear from generation to generation. That's a poem to God, so I guess you could say it's a prayer. But anyway, part of what's kind of getting me on this real kick is having been out in the mountains so much in the last 2 years, horseback, almost entirely horseback, ideally entirely horseback, just kind of getting closer to what I perceive as God, or whatever the hell you want to call it, or nothing, cosmic ball of rocks. But even if it's just even the thought of a cosmic ball of rock forming by chance, and then there's shit growing on it, that's pretty groovy too. So, anyway, and this is a song about a river. I'm getting really into rivers forever. There's this cool Heraclitus quote that I read the other day in a Borges essay that is, "You will never go to the same river twice." Just to say that, it keeps moving. So anyway, back to New Mexico. When I was living down there, I went to the cowboy church a lot, and they were this weird blend of take it easy cowboy lingo and attitude, but it's part of the Southern Baptist Convention, so it was pretty politically conservatively charged in a lot of ways. The sermons would be good, and then you could just see the preacher's eyes start to twitch, and you just shoot off to the side and go down some rabbit hole about lesbonians and stuff like that. Sorry, lesbonians is my word, but that's just to say that, there were a lot of times I wanted to raise my hand in the middle of the sermon, but I didn't. Anyway, there was 2 of his kids had their baptism while I was part of the church, or while I was friends with the people going to it, and it was the coolest thing I've ever been to. It was just Dad, the preacher, is in the river, and he says some prayers, and the kids come down in the river, and he shoves them under the water, and then they pop back up a few feet downstream, and everybody runs off and eats sandwiches. And he says some more prayers, and I was like, shit, man. That's how it's done. So I was talking about mountains and stuff, and I kind of felt similar this last summer. I was on a 17-day pack trip doing support for 2 backpackers who were older guys. I was just carrying their gear, and so I was basically by myself with 2 to 3 horses and a mule, and it's just great. Got to spend all day schooling my horse and teaching her new stuff. And one of the coolest things was both of us learning how to swim. I already knew how to swim, but not on a horse. Both of us, me teaching her how to swim with a person on her back and get in the water and stuff up in Glacier Lake. And then we did it again when we got to Blue Lake. That was just one of those things that really sticks with you. You're just, up at the headwaters of the Minam River. Pretty much naked. The horse is also pretty much naked, and just going for a swim and peeing in the Minam headwaters, and feel real close to God when you're doing stuff like that, or whatever, or the cosmic ball of rocks. So I'm just gonna shut up and sing this song. I stole a line from Real K in it. Not the first time, it won't be the last. River, I am bound to thee. River, I am bound to thee. Freedom's waiting for me yonder. Fear I wear your faith no longer. River, I am bound to thee. River, there's so much I've seen. River, there's so much I've seen. Call me too naive for dreaming, but I still believe in Eden. And river, there's so much I've seen. River, there's still room to dream. River, there's still room to dream. All's forgot that ain't forgiven. The moon is new and I'm still living. And river, there's still room to dream. River, I still sing your name. River, I still sing your name. I rode unadorned to my baptizing there, clean as a coat in the thinnest of air. I still sing your name. River, I am bound to thee. River, I am bound to thee. Mountain bluebird in the morning mist, I need no tricks to prove I exist. River, I'm bound to thee. River, I'm bound to thee.
When did you begin songwriting?
I don't know, probably when I was in middle school, I was in 7th grade, like 13. Pretty bad. Pretty bad.
What called you then?
Pretty awful, yeah. And then that was just like, I didn't even know what I was doing, you know? I didn't know that it was songwriting, I guess. It was more like parody stuff. But then when I was 14 or 15, me and a couple of my friends started a rock and roll band, and I couldn't play any instruments, so I was the singer, and I was probably worse at that than the instruments I couldn't play.
But good enough.
But, yeah, they just put me in the corner of the garage, and I was like, man, if I'm gonna be, I can't do anything in the band and I can't sing, what should I do? And I was like, I'll just write songs. That was kind of how I made it work and started doing it. Just haven't been able to stop. And then when I was 16, I went from listening to a lot of political punk rock to discovering Bob Dylan, and the times they are changing, and I was like, oh man, screw all this shit, like this guy had it figured out. And that's still basically true in my life.
I see it.
Yeah.
The poetry is.
Yeah, I've spent lots of time listening to Bob, and kind of the next level for that for me is now getting this year I've gotten like obsessed with Shakespeare.
Nice.
And that's like, man, if Bob Dylan is a great poet and speaker of, you know, not speaker of a generation, but just a great exemplar of how people write and feel and stuff at a time or in forever, then Shakespeare is that to another magnitude. It's cool. And then getting to dig in and read into Shakespeare's history and how he wrote and stuff too. It's like, oh man, he's a way bigger thief than Bob. So with that, I guess I'll do. Oh, we don't have time here. Yeah, we got time for one more. One more plus a long-winded intro. So this is the one that kind of has the most thieving in it, I think, of anything I've ever written. It's called Lady Godiva, who was famous for riding a horse naked through town in protest of what she saw as too high of a tax rate by her husband, which, you know, that's basically my political stance as well. Naked ladies on horses. And then I was reading through Ezra Pound and didn't realize, but he translates a bunch of Ryaku poems. He's a Chinese poet from a long time ago, in the 700s probably. But I was stoked on that because a lot of his contemporaries and precursors are some of my favorite poets, like Stonehouse. Basho was Chinese or Japanese, but a Zen poet. And then just reading through a handful of anthologies. But anyway, I wanted to read to you guys the stuff that I'm stealing, just for reference. This one's from The River Merchant's Wife, a letter. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but the prime stanza of it is, "At 15 I stopped scowling. I desired my dust to be mingled with yours forever and forever and forever. Why should I climb the lookout?" That image of dust mingling is something else. Oh man, this one, I want to read the whole thing. I'll kind of cut out some middle parts. How about that? The intro is great, and then the parts I steal are both at the end. This is Exile's letter. "To Sokin of Rakuyo, ancient friend, Chancellor of Jen. Now I remember that you built me a special tavern by the south side of the bridge at Ten Shin. With yellow gold and white jewels we paid for songs and laughter, and we were drunk for month on month, forgetting the kings and princes. Intelligent men came drifting in from the sea and from the west border, and with them, and with you especially, there was nothing at cross purpose, and they made nothing of sea crossing or of mountain crossing. If only they could be of that fellowship, and we all spoke out our hearts and minds and without regret. And then I was sent off to South Way, smothered in laurel groves, and you to the north of Raku Hoku, till we had nothing but thoughts and memories in common. And your father, who was brave as a leopard, was governor in Hai Shu, and put down the barbarian rabble. And one May he had you send for me, despite the long distance. And what with broken wheels and so on, I won't say it wasn't hard going, over roads twisted like sheep's guts. And I was still going, late in the year, in the cutting wind from the north, and thinking how little you cared for the cost, and you caring enough to pay it. And what a reception. Red jade cups, food well set on a blue jeweled table, and I was drunk and had no thought of returning. And you would walk out with me to the western corner of the castle, to the dynastic temple, with water about it, clear as blue jade, with boats floating, and the sound of mouth organs and drums, with ripples like dragon scales, going grass green on the water. Pleasure laughter, with courtesans, going and coming without hindrance, with the willow flakes falling like snow, and the vermilion girls getting drunk about sunset, and the water 100 feet deep, reflecting green eyebrows. Eyebrows painted green are a fine sight in young moonlight, gracefully painted, and the girls singing back at each other. I went up to the court for examination, tried Leiyu's luck, offered the Choyo song, and got no promotion. I went back to the East Mountains, white-headed. And once again, later, we met at the South Bridgehead, and the crowd broke up. You went north to Sand Palace, and if you ask how I regret that parting, it is like the flowers falling at spring's end, confused, whirled in a tangle. What is the use of talking? And there is no end of talking. There is no end of things in the heart. I call in the boy, have him sit on his knees here to seal this, and send it 1,000 miles, thinking. And then, we'll just do, the next one's a similar thing, just parting ways. The second half of it is, mind like a floating wide cloud, sunset like the parting of old acquaintances who bow over their clasped hands at a distance. Our horses neigh to each other as we are departing. So, now, let's see, what else? There's something, I think there's something else in this tune. That, oh yeah, there's the wheel on fire, which is this weird, beautiful image that comes from either Ezekiel or Isaiah, and then it's used by Shakespeare in King Lear, who is bound upon a wheel of fire as his daughters are are slaughtering people and trying to chase him out of the kingdom and kill him too, I think. He's going crazy. It's one of the, King Lear is probably my favorite Shakespeare play of what I've read. But anyway, so it's using King Lear, and then Bob Dylan uses it in the song Wheels on Fire from the Basement Tapes. So then of course it's recorded by the band later on their first album. And then it's referenced again by Gillian Welch and Dave Rawlings in the Dave Rawlings Machine song Ruby, which was sort of the one of the melodic inspirations for this one. It's Ruby, let down the golden hand, and that news coming down the wire says that your wheel's on fire, and I'm trying to get a message through to you. Yeah, I think that about sums it up. Everything else I wrote. That's a good one to end on. Diver, your horses are hungry, and I will be there in the morning. Those hills are sweet as honey, flowers are falling, my fate's in a tango. Our horses call to one another, and they get a little harder to handle. Lady Godiva, ride me higher. I'm steady as steady can be, slick and hide. I spent my whole life free. The past comes creeping in. Was I born just to be born again? When will I cease repeating this cycle? I was a wheel within a wheel on fire, and I holler hallelujah. Whisper my amen, claim I never knew you. Only raise my voice to scream God damn, good God damn. Diver, your head's on fire, and I will meet you in the river. I will be there for your baptizing. I promised a plain song, I sang you a river. I won't be wearing this fear for too long. Stand at the bank beneath the moon and I shiver. Lady Godiva, this ain't where I come from, but I've been here for a while. I could turn my dust to your dust. Ponderosas and hemlocks, wildflowers and fetlocks, trail twists like sheep's guts. I lose your sign in the rim rock. Holler hallelujah. Whisper my amen, claim I never knew you, and only raise my voice to scream God damn, God damn.
So we've got a little past 1, if people have to go, or if you want to finish with one more song, or, and
I mean, I'm
hang
ready
out,
to.
and there are CDs for sale, right?
There are, yeah, there's CDs
Okay.
for sale and T-shirts. If anyone knew Zoe Keller when she was out here last year, she was one of the artists in residence at the Jennings Hotel. But anyway, she did the pine cone design on the shirt, or it's actually a Doug fir cone because I know my trees now. Yeah, I noticed in the last one there's a reference to hemlocks again, but this time it's meaningful because there's mountain hemlock up in the mountains, so it works this time.
It worked with that.
So why don't you change that song so it says juniper instead of hemlock? It's your song.
Well, because listen to this. Listen to this.
Juniper.
Don't go like that. No, it's start. Wait, sorry. Tearing my thumbs apart, scratching my name in every damn juniper from here. That's.
Quite
I'm
works.
sorry.
It doesn't quite, it doesn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't fit. But man, but it's, yeah, there's hemlocks between here and Cheyenne. So yeah, I'll do one more without hardly any introduction at all. This is just a song about, I don't know, about the stupid being in love stuff I was talking about earlier, but it's kind of got some, it's one of those, it was written before, it was written a couple years ago, so before the election, but since the election, I don't know, I'm assuming since we're in a community arts center, we're all kind of, well, there's at least a couple lefties floating around in here, but regardless, that they say in other parts of the country, doesn't matter to me which way you're leaning. I grew up in a very conservative political household and figured out during the Iraq War that wasn't for me, and I didn't start playing this song until after the election, and it wasn't a matter of like protest or any of that shit. Protest is great and important, but it wasn't a matter of protest. It's just kind of one of those like everybody's being really dark right now, including the leader of the country, was especially the inauguration just being as dark as you possibly could. And I just, you know, look around and don't see all that much darkness. There's a lot of hard times, but there's a lot of hard workers too. So that's some of the best hard work is done by people who are in love. So that's what this song's about. Saintless and Socorro, saints and Soledad, they came here to save our souls, like souls were all we had. The evening's eyes are opening on Idaho to find blessed unbroken battlelands and the bastard borderlines. You were dreaming of women on blue horses and old stars overhead that burn out before we were born, like God's Sunday cigarettes. She said love's like living on gravel roads, you just wait to be lost. She said, do you think about your mother often? I said, more often than not. We thought about the bad lands and the good lands and the indifferent lands. And we thought about Southpaw gunfighters and horses trading hands. I said it felt strange to learn my mother's name. She said, what was it? I said, Maria. And I get hungry when I'm in wheat fields. She said, you have dinner yet? I said, just tequila. We walked soft so the sleeping ground just ignore us. Poured no sugar into the coffee she poured us. I dreamt a fast dream about a golden plain and how it feels to lose control. Feeling your legs grow hungry and feeling your lungs blow. She sang roses y mistaños like a sparrow in the spring. And we sundanced from here to Cimarron, and that was no dream. She said, just bring the cigarettes and matches. I got the gasoline and the Atlas, the sun's in the south, and I've been reckless since the day that you were born. And I said, I will still be loving you when we've ended every war. Broke our backs in Absaroka, broken bread in Salvador. Learned to curse our covered colors with the blood where we were born. We'll lay naked in the graveyard like another unburst bomb. And when we've mended broken circles, history's told wrong, faithfully forgiven all of their God-forsaken sons. When we've buried all the borders, reclaimed our stolen songs, we will not be lonely, we will not be alone. That's it.